YouTube can't use that word. Hey, I'm Captain Eddie Castle and welcome to the shop. I went looking for chucks and jaws and holders and all that because I got a couple of special, unique little things. And I think this thing through because I have to go stage by stage. I found the jaws for my chucks. That scares me. Whew. You want to know more? All you got to do, you got to watch. I get calls from new turners all the time, men, women, older guys that are getting into it and all, and they went out and bought a, not making fun of it, a Harbor Freight or a Grizzly or a Craftsman or a Jet or a Delta or a Big Mark or a whatever. You bought a lathe and you want a chuck for it. Then you call me up and say, look, I was in a Harbor Freight and I saw this 4-jaw chuck that you can turn a little key on and you can adjust it. And I want to get that for my lathe. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's a key chuck. And you can move something off center. And they're not really easy to adjust. All right, you guys with a machining background, you understand it. You guys with who didn't have a machining background, you don't care and you don't understand, but you still got to live with it. So folks ask me what to do about getting a chuck. If you're a novice turner, just getting started, whatever, and you're very, very limited on what you can do, I'll tell you to go to Penn State Industries or Craft Supplies and look for either the Apprentice or the Barracuda. Now don't get, if you do it on a sale book or whatever, you're going to see all these big options and all. You don't need all those big options. Just remember the chuck you pick must take all those options, because after you've selected the chuck and you want to keep adding to it by putting a big faceplate on it, a small faceplate on it, a little socket holder or whatever, then you have the ability to make those changes. Now, when I went looking this morning, I want to turn a hardwood dowel and I want to spin it, and I think I know what I wanted to hold it with, and I got to thinking, do I have the right chucks and stuff? So right now I'm going to move the camera so you can see it, and we're going to go through these sort of like 1 or 4 at a time. 1 or 4 at a time? Yeah, 1 or 4 at a time. Stick around. I've always joked about take 2. This is take 2 because the monitor wasn't facing where I could see where my hands were, and I was having to look over my shoulder at the other, and you can't do all that and talk and walk and chew gum at the same time. I must have 6 different brands of chucks around the shop, from an Apprentice to a Barracuda to one made by Grizzly, handful of others. The Big Marks have all these chucks, and I was going to show you the different chucks, but I don't have all the jaws for all the chucks because they kind of specialize. So I went to where my roots were. When I first started turning, I said I got to have a good chuck, and the guy told me, and Obi Lacoste is a guy, he told me, go to One Way and get the Way Stronghold chuck. And that's what I have here. This is the Way Stronghold chuck. You can see this thing. This is the beast. This is it. It's a screw type chuck. All right, it's got no close back. So I can take the air hose. See all this dust that gets in here? And that's going to get there from regular use. I can get all that dust out with the air hose. I don't put oil and grease in here because that's silly. But it takes different jaws. I got to zoom out a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Come on, get out. All right. This is my favorite everyday go-to chuck. It's the Way Stronghold. Now, they do make a lighter version of the Way chuck, and it's made for the mini jets and all that. But when I was buying it, the fellow told me, the fellow being Obi Lacoste, told me, why buy a mule when you need a racehorse? And he was absolutely right. I didn't want to buy a donkey or a mule because I need a racehorse. This is the racehorse. This would lead the pack out of the gate every day. But it interchanges the jaws. That's where I'm going to get my magic at. Now this one is the one I use every single day. And when I'm just here goofing off, I got to hold something and put it in jaws or whatever, or hold it. Still, why don't the camera zoom in? The camera will Come on, camera, get in there. There you go, all right. I want to get this in the right place so you understand what I'm talking about, because I don't. These are the jaws. Those two screws, not clips, not springs, not brackets. Those two screws are what I remove, and put the jaws on with. This is a set of one-way, number 2 profile jaws. The inside of this jaw right here, this is smooth. Smooth, 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 smooth. And when I clamp down on something and get the right size done, and I use my gauge, and I love this gauge concept. I use my gauge, I'll know that I need to come down to about that dimension right there. And then I'll be grabbing on this with about 99% of the holding power. And all of the surfaces are making the hold. All of them. And that's real critical if you have something that might move a little bit. But that's the Stronghold profiles. Alright, now when I bought this chuck and put it on the machine, I didn't have that. It came with this. I really should have took a blowtorch to these. Here, all right, it came with these. This is a standard serrated chuck. You see the face on the back of that? See the ridges right underneath my thumb? Those ridges. Can you get a good look at that? All right. See those ridges? That's made for ease and, well, let's leave it at ease. All right. If you put this on, this chuck, right here, you change all 4. You do it every time. And when you change them, you clean the backs to make sure there's no trash on this, and you clean the face of this to make sure there's trash on it. You pop them off, pop them back on, and you put these 4 standard serrated face keys. You have the same hold, but this is different, where it grabs at. Where it grabs at, it's got little teeth that are more, again, good news, bad news. They do hold nicer. Bad news, they leave marks. That's why I went to this, because it doesn't leave marks. So I put the profile jaws in, and I like that for general everyday turning. Then I have to think about when I'm doing something smaller. When I'm doing something smaller, I need to hold like that dowel I'm going to turn for a project. I have to get in here, camera. These are spigot jaws. You see what I'm talking about here? All right. These have a little profile and a little notch on the end, like a little dovetail, and this slips inside of something, or get this, holds onto something. And this isn't serrated or grooved or whatever. This is slick. So I can take a 3/8 inch dowel and put it in there and tighten down on it, and I won't mark the dowel. And if I wrap the dowel with one wrap of wax paper, I definitely won't leave any marks on the thing. My buttons here are working a little slow because where the camera's at. So, all right, now we're getting back out. Now, that's the number 1s. Hold on, I gotta take a call. It might be you. I'm back. It was one of you guys or gals calling to talk about things, orders, and place an order at www.eddiecastellan.com. Because I'm the guy you got to talk to. These are the number 1s. This is the number 2. All right. Then where we go? All right. Let's go to number 3. These are much bigger, and they would grab the bottom of a bowl or a jar or a block or anything else. And you can tell I don't do much dancing here. These are very large jaws. These are also profiles, which means the back is smooth. So if I grab in or on something, I'm not going to leave all those marks that the ridges would leave. So that's my next size up. Now you got to see this nifty trick I got for keeping this track. Then I step up to jumbo jaws. Now I can tell I got these in about 5 sizes. These are jumbo jaws, and I can move the rubber bumpers that come up through it, sort of like a Longworth chuck. It's sort of like a Longworth chuck. They all move at the same rate to come down and grow. And if you got something that's out of balance and or you want to hold that out of balance, you can do that with this chuck, because I can do a number 3 here, a number 3 here, a number 4 there, and a number 4 there, and move the whole center over. You got to play with it and understand it. But that'd be the jumbos. Same thing with these jumbos. That's the next size up. This one, I've got adapters into it to make it into my bracelet holder, where I can put the ring that I'm going to turn for a bracelet. The doggone, I had one of it. Here it is. Now I can dance. I put the ring I'm going to make a bracelet out of in there. Grab it, put the hole to fit the Wildwood Designs bracelet bracket, and then this part of the thing is done, and I can take this whole thing and put it on a mandrel and turn it around. And the mandrel's being held in my Stronghold one way with profile jaws. We've done that on videos. I can have these, and I have them in about a dozen sizes. And I use 7 or 11 grade plywood, not cheap, because I don't want it to warp too much. And I'm holding on with 4 machine bolts, and it works out very fine. So let's see, we did the small, the medium, the large, the extra large, the giant size. Then I got to thinking, well, I got some other stuff too. And I got to look in here, and I found, I've got, and this is going to be a real trick. Let's get in here. I have these. Look at that. 1 screw, 1 size, and it's got 3 steps on it. They're all profiles. Let me get it where you can see it. Okay. See the profiles? All right. I got a set of 4 of these. They fit on that chuck, and it'll let me get inside small jars and small boxes, sort of like my number 1s did. And then I got to looking through and found I've got, come on camera, agree with me. Right. I've got throat profiles in other sizes. I've got the number 1s with the serrated. This is what comes if you buy the number 1 without asking for the profile. This is the serrated one, or scarred, or whatever. It's got the ridges on it, inside and out. Again, my thing, I kind of think you don't only touch it one time if you can get away with it. If you touch it with this, you're going to have these little ridges and marks to take care of. So let's get away from that. And then I look through the rest of them, and I'm pretty much down to it. I want to talk about secrets. Don't tell anybody. I'm caving into Ron here, because Ron, rather my best friend in the world, said, how do you keep track of all this crap? You don't. You let it keep track of itself. These are my number 1 ridged profiles. Ridged. All right, number 1s. I put them on a piece of wire. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that nifty? Got it on a piece of wire, and then hanging on a hook. When I got started, the guy said, what you do is put a zip tie through them. You ever undo a zip tie? Didn't think so. All right, I don't want to do a zip tie. I want to put 4 of them together in one pack, bend it over so I can put it on hooks so they're all together at one time. And I'm going to do the same thing with my profiles, with my ridges, with my 1s, my 2s, my 3s, my jumbos, all of them. You say, well, I don't have all that stuff. Ah, wait, I got to go to Walmart. Look for my keeping boxes. These are dirty, boy. Should have really got the air hose out on this stuff, huh? These are pencil cases from Walmart. Now, when school sessions coming in, they're 50 cents a piece, 60 cents a piece, maybe $1. All right? I don't know really, because I hadn't been to Walmart in over a year. Proud of that. But these are pencil cases. You get a little latch lid, no magic. Open them up, and this is where you can keep the extra screws. Here are my long screws for my buttons and stacking stuff. And also, it would fit the set of 4 jaws. Here's the 4th one. The right size. You see, that's why we're doing this. That's the right size. Now I can put these 4 cutters, these 4 jaws, and any extra parts and pieces in one of these places, and mark on the end of it large jaws, or number 2, or serrated, or profile, whatever you want to call them. All right, and then I can stack these on the shelf, and all my cutters are, my jaws are right there on the shelf in front of God and everybody, or on a hook hanging on the wall, or a piece of string. The spring thing again is the knots and all that. The piece of ceiling tie wire, that's where they put up the acoustic ceilings with, works really good. And if you go around a job site, you probably find enough drops to do everything you want around the shop and keep them. Put them on a bundle, keep them. All right. So if you're changing, if you're looking to hold work, hold it right. When you're looking to buy a chuck, buy the chuck. I went to One Way because my mentor said, if you want to race, get into a horse race, get a racehorse. I had these other ones. I bought them for specialty items. I got a fine little bitty 1H8 chuck in a box with all these fittings and all that. I bought at SWAT a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. For the ornamental lathe, because it's small and I didn't want to throw a lot of weight around with that one. So I have this little rig. Beautiful package. Still in the package. What am I doing? Still using my One Way. I don't use the Stronghold. They got the next one down on it. It's still the screw type. I'm not real keen on those lever things. All right? The lever things all sound good. You put a hand on this lever, a hand on this lever, and then you hand on this lever, hand on this lever, and then... Okay, this is where the third guy comes in place, because I ran out of hands and I need somebody to put my piece in and line it up. Whereas if I had a screw chuck, I'd do that. I'd put the piece up there, stick my screw in, my key in it, and some turn clockwise to tighten, some turn counterclockwise to tighten. I've been hurt in a demonstration because the guy behind me kept this and he said, look, I got it as tight as it'll go. He had it as loose as it'll go. Nice old man. But yeah, I lived through it. Here's the other thing. You can color code them. If you, like I have those things in 3 or 4 or 5 colors. Clean them up. You don't have to be solid coating. Clean it all up with a little wire brush, and I got one there, and I'm not going to go looking for that. A little wire brush. Put them all on a piece of plywood or paper. But, all this. And spray this non-contact area in the back. And then you can color code them. And I did do that. I did say non-contact. I got to explain that. I said non-contact area. I have to explain this a little bit. So, and these things weigh about 8 9 pounds. There is a contact area and a non-contact area. The face of this chuck right here, this furthest part out, that's a contact area. This shoulder on the inside, this shoulder on the outside, those are contact areas. What do I mean? When you create a dovetail or an insert or a tendon to grab onto, that's the contact points. This back ridge, this outer ridge right here, the furthest one away from me to you, got that? That's the one that makes contact with the wood. The one on the inside of the outside is the other one that makes contact. You gotta have 2 surfaces. One keeps them going that way and the other keeps them going this way. I don't know what keeps them going that way. But those are contact and non-contact areas. So if you're doing anything, don't mess with this area, this area, and this area. Wire brush them clean. I got a little copper or brass wire brush I picked up at Harbor Freight. And while the lathe is spinning, while the chuck is spinning on the lathe, I will brush these up to clean them, because my stuff, this is unconditioned. My stuff's not going to be this clean and smooth. But that'll clean the gook off, and the goobly and the gook, and the finish and everything else off, so they got a good, clean thing. I don't sand them, I don't polish them, I just brush them off. So, now we'll talk contact and non-contact areas. Oh, that is a chunk of steel. It really holds well. I had to give them to this. You might think I harp on it a little bit, but when you know where good is, you go back. So when I got into this, and Obi Lacoste talked me into going to a One-Way Stronghold, I had a mini lathe. In fact, I had something I bought at Big Lots or McFrugal's, one of those places, and it was a real piece of junk. He explained to me is that, all right, that's your first lathe. And you don't go racing horse races at Pembleton. You got to warm up to it. So that was my warm-up lathe. And I knew I was going to grow from there. So I bought a chuck that I could grow 2 with. So be careful when you get into these real discounts and you see this catalog sale. Remember, the people that put that all together are selling you something. Nothing to do with what you need or what you want. They're selling you something. So make sure they're selling you what you need. If you buy one, and on a one-way, these inserts in the back, they come out, these 2 screws come out, go into these 2 holes, and push it right out. Simple. It's in the instruction book. You should look at it. And you can change this out. I've used this one on a 1" 8, a 1/4 8, 1 8. I have one that's really weird that they matched up, and this is 33 millimeter because it fits on my one-way. And I've got a pile of these inserts to go back in there. I always keep. I got them on a piece of string because if I'm going to go demo at your club and you're going to have an 1" 8, and I'm going to use my chuck, your lathe, I'm going to put my insert in my chuck and balance it while I'm here to make sure it's all cleaned up and all instead of rushing through it. Getting around to when you buy them, be a little bit more careful than price, because it's like buying a Yugo. It might have sounded like a good deal, but I don't see a lot of Yugos parked on the side streets. All right, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. I needed to talk about getting a hold on it. Getting a hold on it. Right? I got to put all the stuff away while you're making shavings. That's right, making shavings. See this? Making shavings thing? That's what you should be out doing. If you need me, go to my website, www.eddiecastellan, www.eddiecastellan.com. Here it is the address. www.eddiecastellan.com. Look it up if you want to buy something or whatever. The guy just now called, Ron, said, you know, he got an order in and he thought he ordered something. We make them right. We make them right. You're talking to a 2-horse show. There's the boss horse and me horse. And that's it. So if we can help you, let us know. Otherwise, I got some cleanup to do. Man, did I have some crap. I gotta find a whole bunch of wire.